we will be having the session 2. So for the first session, first of all, I would like to um, s- extend my heartfelt gratitude to the organizers and to the Research Synergy Foundation for the invitation to be one of the session chairs of this conference. And for all the presenters, all the best and good luck. So to start with our presentation, please be
Uh,
reminded.
Sorry, Doctor.
Yes,
Okay, let me
yeah,
read
yeah.
out some things about the breakout room.
Okay, okay.
Okay, shall I? So I would like also to welcome to the academic online presentation session 2 on this breakout room 1 of the 4th International Conference on Islamic Epistemology for ICIE on day 2. As an information, after this academic online presentation in this breakout room, we will have a short break while we recapitulate the evaluation from the session share to determine the best presentation. And then after this, we will go back to the main room. After that, we also will have awarding session to announce the best presentation, the best paper, and the session share recognition. So please give your best effort in presenting your research today. So okay, on this today online presentation consists of 6 presenters from track Islamization of Science, Humanity, and Islamic Law. And the session chair for today is Professor Jalvin Benzel Marohom from University of Southern Mindanao, the Philippines. Welcome, Prof. Jalaluddin Benzel Marohom, or Prof. Marohom, am I correct? Thank you and glad to see
Yes,
you in this room. How are you, Prof?
I am good. Our weather is okay also.
Okay, Alhamdulillah. So it's nice to hear about the great weather there. Yeah. So before Prof. Marahom sharing the session, allow me to read his profile first. Jalaluddin B. Marahom, DBA, is an assistant professor of the University of Southern Mindanao in the Philippines. He worked on his dissertation paper, particularly the behavioral influence on halal food consumption, which made him complete the degree of Doctor of Business Administration. He received funding for various research projects on halal, which aims for development and commercialization. Additionally, some of his training participated in the technology of commercialization, technology business incubation, and social entrepreneurship. In 2017, he was awarded the Most Outstanding Marketing Educator, and with his education, he wishes to work on projects that make an impact to the community. Okay, Prof. Marahom, thank you for your support in this conference and for being with us today. From now onwards, I will pass the session to be led by you. Now the time is yours. Please welcome Prof. Marahom.
Thank you, Miss Rina, for the introduction. And again, as mentioned earlier, we will be starting this presentation for the session 2. And for the presenters, be guided with the following guidelines. You only have 10 minutes to present your paper and 5 minutes for the question and answer portion. Now, it will be facilitated, of course, by myself, and I hope you can be able to answer directly the questions from the audience. And for the audience as well, you may be encoding your answers in the chat box. So to start with our session, allow me to call in Wartiani, Miss Wartiani. So she will be presenting her paper titled Analysis of Escherichia coli Extended Spectrum Beta Lactamase or ESBL bacteria in chicken farm waste in Sipundo, Tangerang City. Ms. Wartani,
Thank you,
the floor is
Professor.
now yours.
Thank you, Professor Jalaluddin. Let me share my screen. Sorry, I can.
Wait.
Okay.
Okay, wait a minute. Mr. Okay. Okay. We already see your screen. Thank you.
Maybe you can enable. Yeah, that's it.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. In this fourth ICIE, I want to thank for the opportunity that given to me to present the paper under the title Analysis of Escherichia coli Extended Spectrum Beta-lactamase or ESBL bacteria in chicken farm waste. Okay, the members of this research group are Wartiani, that's me, dan Aulia Maulida, Riri Sulindiawati Puspitasari, SSC MSI, and Mr. Syafitri Jumianto, SSC MSI. And we are come from University of al-azhar, Indonesia. Okay, the first is introduction that antibiotics as a class of drugs that are widely used in the fields of medicine and pharmacology. This is because of their benefits to suppress biochemical process in an organism. Antibiotics also stop the growth of bacteria. That in addition, antibiotics also used in the livestock industry as drugs to prevent disease caused by bacteria. Types of antibiotics in livestock include beta-lactam groups such as penicillins, cephalosporins, cepamycin, sarbapanems, and monobactams. The wrong antibiotics used will lead to antibiotic resistance. Bacteria resistant to antibiotics affected to decrease the effectiveness of therapy and reduce the sensitivity. Antibiotic resistance could be spread through chicken as common livestock. This is because many chicken farms use antibiotics incorrectly and cause chicken to become resistant to antibiotics. Then this resistant coding genes spread to the waste that is disposed of into the environment and returns to humans the food chain. Okay, the content of animal slaughter wastewater is organic matter, suspended solid, and colloidal material such as fat, protein, and high concentration of cellulose. So livestock wastewater is included in the category of complex liquid waste containing bacteria, one of which is coliform type Escherichia coli or E. coli. But E. coli bacteria contained in chicken farm waste is easily resistant to antibiotics and is dangerous for human welfare because it can produce enzymes that are resistant to antibiotics. That enzymes that are successfully encoded by antibiotic-resistant genes cause E. coli to become resistant to antibiotics. E. coli can spread antibiotic-resistant genes to other bacteria, either of the same or different species, horizontally through mobile genetic element or MGA, or vertically through self-division. Livestock waste containing resistant E. coli can contaminate other bacteria if it is not treated properly before being disposed of, and will return to humans so that humans can be infected with this resistant bacteria. That the enzymes that produce it as known as ESBL. Okay, the urgency of this research is when the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reported that there were million people each year in the United States who detected antibiotics resistant, and approximately 23,000 people died. In 2013, found that about 700,000 deaths worldwide due to antibiotic resistance. It is estimated that in 2050, there will be 10 million deaths due to antimicrobial resistance, with 4.7 million in Asia. Okay, for the literature review, one of the literature review is based on research conducted by Tufeil Unindika et al. In 2022. With the results showing that ESBL producing E. coli was identified in all samples, with the lowest percentage of ESBL producing E. coli at 10.45%. and the highest at 52%, with an average of 17.76%. ESBL producing E. coli has the risk of polluting the environment through effluent from RPHU or TPA, and this bacteria pose a risk of contaminating the environment through effluent from RPHU or TPA, and can be a health threat, especially to people who live along rivers and use river water as a source of daily life. Okay, the research methodology is the first is sampling that based on SNE 69 and 89.59 in 2008. That the samples used are liquid samples and the solid samples. And the second is dilution that come from global tricycle surveillance or ESBL E. coli from World Health Organization 2021. And the third is isolation and identification of E. coli from SNE to 2897 in 2008. That concerning methods for testing microbial contamination in eggs, milk, and their processed products. And the medias that use are meconicaine plus cefotaxime 1 microgram per milli. Then triptychsoy agar and LEMDA. Then the last is ESBL confirmation that from global tricycle surveillance or ESBL E. coli from World Health Organization 2021 by biochemical testing using in-vitro test. Okay, for the discussion is the use of antibiotics in livestock plays a major role in the development of resistance to commensal and pathogenic bacteria and can increase the risk of human beings infected with bacteria that have developed resistance. The occurrence of resistance resulted in the treatment process due to bacterial infection in humans becoming ineffective and even failing. One of the factors causing resistance is the habit of giving antibiotics as a growth factor or antibiotic growth promoter or EGP, which causes livestock to grow faster but can also cause an increase in intestinal organisms that are resistant to antibiotics. Improper use of antibiotics and dosage also triggers bacterial resistance to various antibiotics, resulting in treatment failure in cases of bacterial disease in livestock. And E. coli, which is suspected of ESBL, was indicated by the presence of growth on meconicaine agar containing 1 microgram per milli cefotaxime, with the characteristic of colonies being round, smooth, red in color, and surrounded by turbid zones. Meconicaine agar is a selective medium and can discriminate between lactose fermenting and non-lactose fermenting enteric bacteria. Samples suspected of ESBL producing E. coli were also grown using the scratch method using the Levin eosin methylene blue agar or LEMDA media. Characteristic of colonies suspected to be ESBL producing E. coli on LEMDA media are shown in metallic green with a black dot in the middle. The metallic green color of LEMDA indicates very long lactose fermentation. Then with the biochemical test where this test in the manufacture of bacterial isolates consists of the indole, methyl red or MR, Virus proscore or VP, and citrate test which function to ensure that the bacteria contained are really E. coli. Indole Escherichia coli test result yielded positive result. The isolates tested contained tryptophanase enzyme, so tryptophan was converted to amino into indole, which is indicated by the formation of cherry red rings on the surface when added with a few strip of Covax. Okay, for the conclusion, based on the result of the study, it was concluded that one of the factors causing resistance is the habit of giving antibiotics as a growth factor or antibiotic growth promoter or EGP, which causes livestock to grow faster, but can also cause an increase in intestinal organisms that are resistant to antibiotics. ESBL contaminating E. coli and on meconcampus cefotaxime has round, smooth, red in color and surrounded by two red zones colonies. Then characteristic of colonies suspected to be ESBL producing E. coli on LEMBA media are shown in metallic green with a black dot in the middle. Okay, for further research, can utilize this research to determine the type of ESBL contained in E. coli. Because this research has not been carried out in depth, so it is not known what type of ESBL contained. Further research needs to be done for the judicious recognition of antimicrobial resistant organism. Production of extended spectrum beta-lactamase or ESBL is a significant resistant mechanism that inhibits antimicrobial treatment of infection and poses a serious threat to the currently available antibiotic arsenal. Therefore, ESBL detection as soon as possible is beneficial for living things. In livestock, ESBL detection can be carried out as a deterrent to the use of ESBL bacteria, which are usually found in E. coli in all contents of the farm. This also has an impact on humans, so that humans who consume livestock products are protected from ESBL bacteria that cause antibiotic resistance. This also has an impact on the environment because it can prevent waste from being dumped into the environment contaminated with ESBL. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Wartiani. So it's actually an overtime, but for 34 seconds only. Now, thank you for your presentation and congratulations. Let's now have the questions from the audience, from the participants. Any questions from the participants for Miss Wartiani? If you wanted to raise, Mr. Manduk Budiman, you may now unmute and ask your question, please. Thank you.
Introduce for me. My name is Mamduk Budiman from University of Muhammadiyah Semarang. You hear me?
It's audible. Yeah.
Yes.
Clear my voice?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Good. I'm Islamic Studies and Arabic Language. I will to ask to speaker. Yeah, where your research is very good, your article science is very good, but I will ask about triangle of science of philosophy. Where is a statement in epistemology in Islamic and science in antibacterial microbiology? I didn't got yet about your statement about Islamic epistemology. Where is? Can you explain?
Okay, I will explain based on my known and understanding that Islam and science are not contradictory things, of course. So, of course, there are many benefits that can be drawn from this research for Muslim. An example is Allah calls for keeping what has been given, such as health. So, this research, people can be more careful in maintaining their health. In addition, in this study, it was proven that excessive use of anything included antibiotics is in animals is not allowed because the impact will be bad for other living things. Maybe there is in Quran Surah Al-A'raf verse 31 that the meaning is children of Adam, take your adornment that is wearing your clothing at every mass and eat and drink, but be not too excessive. Indeed, he likes not those who commit excess. Maybe like that.
Okay, very good. Can you add editing in your research article? Epistemology, ontology, and axiology is very better. If you
Okay,
can,
thank you, Mr. Mahmud.
because this forum is Islamic science and epistemology. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Sir Manduk. Any question from the, Miss Badra.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Miss Wartiani, yeah. Your paper is very great. It talks about the biological things in the what is that? But this is under the track of Islamization, right? The track Islamization of science. My question is almost the same, just like Mr. Mamdu. What is the relevance? Because in your presentation, you never correlate the Islamization side with the paper. And secondly, it is what is this? The Escherichia, this kind of bacteria come from chicken farm waste. Is there any related to halal or something like that? Because I cannot relate anything, as your paper does not mention anything related to Islam. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for the questions. That I think that this paper is due to for Muslim, for us, that Allah calls for keeping what has been given, such as health. That I didn't put in my presentation, so that make all of you confused. Sorry. That maybe Allah calls for the keeping what has been given, such as health. So with this research, people can be more careful in maintaining their health. In addition, in this study, it was proven that excessive use of anything, including antibiotics in animals, is not allowed, because that impact will be bad for other living things like that. And for the halal or haram, that maybe yes, because if we don't have to cook the chicken, that chicken meat apprentice until down like that, that make it haram, and that bacteria is containing in the meat like that.
Okay, so I think that completes the answer of Miss Wartani on the questions. Is it okay, Miss Badra? Are we all good?
Yes,
I think
good.
so.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah. But anyways, I believe there are some questions to be asked to our presenter. So you may actually continue the discussions in the chat box and also with the platform provided by the organizers for the continued discussions. So again, thank you very much and congratulations, Ms. Wartani. So we will now proceed with the second presenter. Under the track humanity. So this is to be presented by Mr. Aris Mahmoud, titled "Is Indonesia Destined to Become the World's Market for Halal Products?" Sir Aris, you may now start, sir. Hello, Sir Aris. Are you here?
Yes, I am here.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
may now start presenting your paper, sir.
yeah. Can I share my PowerPoint?
Yes, sir. You
Yeah,
may now start sharing your
yeah,
presentation.
yeah. Okay. Salah. Oke. Ya. Oke, mana tadi masuk? Share screen. Screen-nya di mana?
Hello, Sir Aris.
Oh, chef. Okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi sholli wa yassirli amri
Uh,
wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli.
Sir Aris, excuse me. Please click the slideshow
Mm-mm.
seen in the lower part of your screen. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, you may
Thank
now
you.
start, sir.
You're welcome. Okay. My paper title is Indonesia destined to become the world's market for halal product. The Indonesian has the potential to become the world market for halal good and service. Indonesian failure to as the largest Muslim country in the world need attention from the stakeholder. This research is important because Indonesia should be the holder of the world halal product market. As a country with the largest Muslim population in the world, Indonesia can become one of the largest markets in the world. As indicated in the Global Islamic Economic Report here, Indonesia is one of the top 10 countries that control the Islamic economic market, yet it's failed to dominate the own Islamic market. Okay, next. The fact in inclusion financial literacy only reached 76%. Only reach 76%. So many entities, especially for MSME, is difficult in increasing their production capacity as well as to improve the quality of their product. One of the difficulties of MSME, a small enterprise actor, is obtain capital for development of medium enterprise. That capital owners do not yet have a prominent level on confidence in lending to MSA business actor. They will lack confidence in the success of MSA business, their ability to increase production capacity and quality, in addition to their managerial capability, especially related to financial administration, to facilitate financial inclusion, and their use in information technique in increasing business opportunity and expanding market share. How is the existence of the MSME Indonesia in the world market for halal product and service? The method, the author have conducted a form of normative juridical research with the analytical approach based on the statutory rule. The law as a system of norm and rule originate from legal product, both from regulator and court decision, as well as opinion of the other expert to produce argument, theories, or the new concept as a prescription in solving the problem under investigation. The position of Indonesian MSME, small medium enterprise, is comparable to those in India. In addition to access to formal finance in India, also being constrained by management limitation, as well as the complexity small medium enterprise procedure due to application of the banking adequacy ratio based on Basel III. That challenge such challenge call for a government policy to overcome the challenge faced by small medium enterprise. Such policy including fiscal as well as non-fiscal policy. Indonesia has implemented fiscal policy for small medium enterprise based on government regulation or VV number 23 of 2018. Apply as 0.5% tax for turnover of no more than 4.8 billion per year. In addition to the government can potentially offer convenience of the non-financial policy. In addition, the government can potentially offer convenience through non-financial policy, namely by facility the process of halal certification for small medium enterprise, which generally do not have a budget outside of production. All of the foregoing to enable small medium enterprise to be more productive and competitive in the halal industrial ecosystem. Likewise, in India, the government also encouraged the empowerment of startup and small medium enterprise through the beneficial fiscal 0% for small medium enterprise. Facility need to provide by the state specifically to small medium enterprise without compromising the essence of maintaining halal integrity through the provision of the simple halal product guarantee registration pro and the imposition of the processing fee adjusted to business condition and selection offer of each of this small medium enterprise, so that through halal certification and other document they can expand their market access going from local to global. Partnership between large enterprise and small medium enterprise can create prosperity for stakeholders, and they can also contribute to the national economic growth through fulfillment of commitment and also business ethics. However, an equal bargaining position frequency occur as a result of the setting decremental partnership agreement clauses. For such reason, the role of the government and corporate companies through CSR, corporate social responsibility, is needed to provide protection and progress to small medium enterprise needs to be based on subcultural aspect and mutual beneficial partnership among stakeholders, whereby small medium enterprise products are absorbed by corporation making it easier to market them. Partnership agreement need to be simple and understandable to both parties and applicable in complex circumstances. Policy in business competition in Indonesia are complex. It encourages to equal distribution of business opportunities, legal efficiency, and easy to access to market capital and technology for small medium enterprise, following the monopolistic price and unfair business competition. Okay. Next. Coming backward and consecutive development must refer to sustainable development SDGs at 2015 UN General Assembly session. In this context, the collaboration of
Aris?
stakeholders and community members
Okay.
play a high significant role in finding innovative solutions through knowledge sharing to achieve effective use research through social networks and related local communities. Economic-based knowledge has become available as a result of globalization in sustainable development through innovation and knowledge transfer, as well as collaboration among all stakeholders. Is called the quadruple helix. model as the fourth pillar toward achieving sustainable development. There is an urgent need to for civil society involvement in such a holistic model because the place greater focus on the micro perspective so that dynamic relationship, synergy, collaboration, coordinated environment, and value creation activity acceleration problem solving do the maximize of effective resource exploration. Conclusion. The result of this study indicated that quadrivalent innovation system ensure that the legal system has strong providing uh, power while providing a multiplier effect on the national economy. The quadruple helix quality system creates a cohesiveness of the government through fiscal and non-fiscal incentives, as well as policy and regulation that support the productivity of small medium enterprise in halal goods and service. In the academic sector, with the support from the National Science and Technology Law, which can be expanded to encourage economic growth through innovation and access to information. Collaboration in the quadruple helix between government, academia, industry, and community make it possible for small medium enterprise to develop and have global competitiveness in the ecosystem of halal products and service. The halal ecosystem requires a halal social environment that must be adapted so that stakeholders can at all times to adhere towards any changing of the accord. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you, Sir
Maybe,
Aris, for your
okay.
presentation.
Yeah.
Um, we are now ready for the Q&A. May I ask the participants to please ask for question to Mr. Aris? Any question?
Okay.
Yes, Sir Manduk. Thank you again.
Okay, thank you for time for me. Okay, very good for halal product. Just one simple question. Is the in your research article the halal label product in Indonesia like MUI is now by government BPJPH Badan Penjaminan Mutu Halal is affect the level forecast is affect the level is affect for the forecast. Apakah halal label mempengaruhi tingkat pembelian konsumen?
Okay. Certificate halal certification is not just a favor of halal guarantee, but essentially the halal is the quality of the product which function all Muslim without certification. Anyone can be not aware can be certainly that's the product which consumed is the halal because the certification is one of the way to guarantee that the product is include the Sharia regulation.
So I think that is the answer of Sir Aris, Sir Manduk.
Okay,
We
very
are
good.
actually having an audible problem on the side of Sir Aris. Right. Sige. Okay. For another questions, may I ask the other participants? Do we still have another question for Sir Aris?
Okay.
Because if there's none, we will proceed with the next presenter.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Agung.
Okay, so I think there's none. So anyways, again, for remaining questions, you can put in the chat box for Sir Aris to be able to answer those questions. Okay, Sir Aris, thank you very
Yeah,
much and
thank you very
congratulations
much.
for your presentation. Now we will proceed with our third presenter, still under the um, humanity track.
Thank you. You're welcome.
So we'll be having the presentation of Amori Ade Sudiro with the paper titled Legal Review of Online Counterfeit Drugs Trafficking in Point View of Makusid Sharia. Hello, Amori. Are you here?
Okay, so I think we have him just a few moments before this,
Okay.
but I cannot see his name now. Wait, shall we go to the next presenter first, and then I will contact Mr.
Okay.
Amory, and then we go to him later on. Okay.
Okay. So we will be proceeding to Miss Siti Farhani
Yes,
with her paper titled Alternative Punishment and Criminal Legal Systems in Indonesia.
yes. Let me show my presentation first. Okay. Can you see my presentation, Mr. Professor Marohom?
Yes, it's visible now, but then you have to share it as a slideshow.
Like this.
Oh,
Yes.
yes, that's great. Thank
Yeah.
you, Miss City. Now start.
I said okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Of the conference participants, may we always be under Allah protections, and may Allah make it easy for us to participate in this conference. I do not forget to thank the organizers and sponsors who supported the implementations of this conference, and also thank to Professor Mahorom who led the presentation. And let me present the result of my paper entitled Alternative Punishment in Criminal Legal System in Indonesia. Uh, the introductions is about the problem of sentencing in Indonesia. It's inseparable from problems related to the large number of criminalizations and insufficient persons capacity. So there's two problems is about over criminalizations and overcrowded in the prisons. And about the criminal law in Islamic epistemology is the first functions of criminal law in Islam is to make the criminal offender aware so that he does not repeat the crime he has committed, and so that the punishment becomes a lesson for others, so they do not dare to commit a crime, as well as those who have committed a crime. And then about the function of government and law enforcement is namely enforcing God's commands with a human interest within the limits of God's laws. And let's talk about criminalizations. Indonesia is in a crisis of conflicts due to over criminalizations, where the number of imprisonments is more than fines or other sanctions. 97%. Besides that, where almost all detention centers and prisons experience capacity overloaded. Apart of being unhealthy, it's also inhuman and even violating the purpose of punishment, namely coaching to become a human free again. Realize mistake, improve themselves and learn, and society can accept them after serving their sentences. And we can see from the picture that there's a lot of people in the jail. That this is one of the problem in Indonesia that's called overcrowded. Overcrowded, more than 200% in the number of prisoners is 266. The normal capacity is only 132, 107 people, while the inside capacity is 134, 55, 6 people. Urgency. The urgency is that is not addressed immediately, then the potential for community welfare will not be maximized. As a result of the allocation of the state budget will be more in the judiciary. For this reason, a criminal justice system policies need institutional treatment, discretion, diversion, restorative justice, as well as a probation of or social work sentences, community-based, aligned with the philosophy of social reintegration. Legal renewal in criminal law. Legal renewal in criminal law requires synchronizations and harmonizations of regulations contained in Wetboek van Strafrecht for Netherlands IND, adapted to the dynamics or universal and modern development by changing the paradigm of classical retaliations ex criminal law toward integrative paradigm, which pay attention to the aspect of the act, the perpetrator, and the victim. Renewal in the criminal law system contained the criminal code, which has recently undergone change related to criminal law prohibited ex-criminal act, criminal liability, and the formulations of sanctions in the form punishment and action. About punishment. Punishment is a simple way can be interpreted as sanction. The punishment referred to is related to the impositions of a sentences and the justifications for imposing a sentence of the persons who through a court decisions that has permanent legal force is legally and convincing proven to have committed a crime. About the issue research, the deterrence effect that is the goal of punishment has not been fully realized and have even created problems that have a domino effect. The penal system is in resolving criminal cases has an impact on piece of case filed from the court of first instance to the cassations level, which is homework for our country, the completion of which takes a long time, where from the judge's decision, defendant will become the responsibility of the correctional institution who condition improve every year with limitations. Prison facility and facilities that have a psychological impact and the eligibility of inmates who also have the potential to fail in forming conscious human being because interactions that occur with fellow inmates make it similar to an institution for increasing proficiency in committing crimes. So about all the problem, we're talking about the alternative punishment. The imposition of of special sanctions must fulfill the principle of the proportionally, which is contextualized following the principle of ultimum remedium. As for perpetrators who can be given special sanctions based on considering the severity of the crime, the seriousness of the perpetrator to correct his mistake, the first time he's committed the crime, and the relative level of loss and the ability to repair and provide compensations to victims. And about restorative justice. In restorative justice, punishment with restorative justice as a form of implementation of the purpose of punishment, enforcement of criminal law, preventing and overcoming crime through improving the behavior of the perpetrator to become a human being again, as well as to anticipate arbitrary actions outside the law, balance, restorations, equilibrium. So we need to criminal law reform. Criminal law reform is essentially a way of carrying out a review and reformations, the orientation and reform of criminal law in harmony with the central sociopolitics, socio-philosophical, and socio-cultural values of Indonesian society, which underlies all social policies, criminal policies, and law enforcement policies in Indonesia. And this case is analysis of economic and it called economic analysis of law, has the basic concept of rational choice that prioritizes gains and loss because human as a homo economist always consider the allocation of resource to maximize added value or value both material and non-material efficiency and efficiently and benefits and avoidance for maximum risks. Politics of criminal law is countermeasure for breaking criminal law norms carried out by authorized apparatus in the criminal law system to enforce laws so that crimes can be dealt with fairly. The criminal justice system adhere to a system of function differentiation consisting of subsystems that stand alone but are integral part of the criminal justice system. The subsystems start from investigation, prosecution, trial, and correctional. Research analysis. The deterrence effect that is the goal of punishment has not been fully realized and have been created problems that have a domino effect. The penal system is resolving criminal cases has an impact to pile of case filed from the court of first instance of the cassation level, which is homework completion of which is take a long time whereas from the judge's decisions. The defendants will become responsibility of the correctional institution, whose condition improve every year with limitations. Prison facilities and places that have a psychological impact and the agility of inmates who also have the potential to fail in forming conscious human beings because interactions that occur with fellow inmates make it similar to institutions for increasingly proficiency in committing crimes. With an economic analysis approach to law in sentencing, it's assumed that the level of the state budget will decrease and even the state can benefit from the substitute sanctions. It is the form finds without neglecting the aspect justice and crime prevention. As is the case in the Netherlands, the crime rate in the Netherlands is not non-existent or smaller compared to the other countries, but the use of alternative sanctions makes the prison occupancy rate minimal and can even be rented out to the Belgium to make it a source of state financial income. Where in the Netherlands, it carries the concept that crimes committed if the sentences less than 6 years, then the prosecutors can offer a stipulation of compensations for the fine paid to the state treasury by eliminating the criminal act for the defendants. Conclusions. The authors argue that changing the sentences paradigm with alternative sanction is in sentencing can increase the efficiency of states' resource in handling criminal cases. It is assumed that the application of restorative justice is a form of implementations of alternative sanctions can provide added value in the settlement of criminal cases, where person capacity can be controlled and resource utilizations, the state in the form of a budget that is needed in the process inquiry, investigation, prosecution, and justice. And correctional institutions can run efficiently without ignoring the goal of fostering inmates to become fully independent human beings and return to society. Conclusion in Islamic paradigm.
Miss City, so time is up.
Just a minute.
Okay, sige. Okay.
Paradigm, the concept of restorative justice in Islamic criminal law is carried out through peace and forgiveness by realizing the creations of justice and balancing for the perpetrator criminals act and the victim themselves. That's all for my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss City, and my apologies for cutting the presentation. It's an interesting topic as well, especially on the criminal legal system and also using the economic legal approach. I mean, economic analysis approach. So for questions, may I ask from the participants to please ask question to our presenter? Questions? So I think the participants are, still thinking of what to ask for our presenter.
Maybe next to another presentation.
But yeah, we will wait for them to ask question. Okay, another one question from Professor T. The question is, what is the challenge while conducting the study?
The challenge is because we need to learn about the rules and then we enforce the rules to be implemented, and the case and the problem will solve if we implementation the rules. Yeah, that's the answer.
So maybe on the implementation aspect of the conduct of the study. So that's the challenge you've experienced for in conducting the study. Okay, Miss Siti, another question? Some more questions? Yes, Sir Musliuddin. So I think the participants are, silent when it comes to the topic. Okay, maybe I'll just ask one question, just to complete the presentation of Miss City. Maybe my question is about the economic analysis approach, like how this approach is relevant in your study.
Oh, yeah, because if the penalizations is changed by like uh just another punishment, not in the jail, so the governments not need to give any cost to the prisoners in the jail, because uh because the government right now have a lot need to cost a lot of money to give a prisoners a much facility, like for eat, for they take a bath, and another things like if they sick in the jail, another things like that. So if there is another alternative punishment, the government do not need to cost a lot of money for the prisoners. That's
Okay, so maybe on the economic side of the government, right? So maybe I just wanted to share in the Philippines, like for our prisoners in the Philippines, we there are actually programs who are providing these prisoners a livelihood opportunity, and that livelihood opportunity is to increase their economic status even in the jail. So maybe to some countries it's also working, and yeah, that's in the Philippines actually. So thank you very much, Miss City. Professor Santi, you have something to say?
Yes, Professor Jaludin. Nice to
Yeah,
see you here. Thank you.
thank you, Prof.
Okay, so actually research from Dr. Siti is very interesting, yeah. And this is actually it's really intriguing actually, Dr. Siti. So perhaps later, because when you present your research, we can get a more clearer understanding about your research about. So perhaps because there's still opportunity, yeah, Dr. Siti, to extend to the journal if you're willing to, because your research is actually interesting to be elaborate more. Yeah, so perhaps later on in your extended full paper, perhaps, or another future study of your research, perhaps you can also making like recommendations, because in your current research you already stated several statements, but it is not yet clearly stated. So this is like being blend with the paragraph, yeah, for the discussions and also the conclusions. So perhaps you can address the sections for the recommendations, because when you are talking about, when we are reading your paper about alternative punishment in criminal legal system in Indonesia, so everyone wants to know what is actually the alternative punishment. So you have to make sure you highlight those alternative that you already said using the economic approach and etc. So I think it is already good, but not yet stated clearly in your paper. So I think it can be elaborate more, Dr. Siti, because it is interesting. So good work.
yeah. Thank you, Professor Santi, for the suggestions. I will fix it soon. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good comment and suggestion from Prof. T. Thank you very much, Prof. So I think that completes the part of Miss City. So we'll now proceed with the next presenter. Are we good with the previous presenter?
Yes, Doctor, we already have Miss Amori here with us.
Okay. So we will give now the screen to Amori Adi Sudiro in his presentation of the paper titled Legal Review of Online Counterfeit Drugs Trafficking in Point View of Makusid Sharia.
Thank you very much. I will start the screen. It's my presentation is already.
Yeah, it's visible, but then not on a slideshow.
Is it true?
Yeah, better. So you may now, I know. Yeah, that's it.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Agung. I'm one of the al-azhar University lecturer. In this paper, I would like to represent about drug seller by online. We already know that selling online is right now since COVID, it's a more easier way to transactions within this drugs or anything. You can search it online. In 2020, based on result of Indonesia e-commerce Association, I do inspection. There are already 15,000 marketplaces members have been taken down for selling illegal drugs. We already know that drugs it's unfair by the especially for men. Okay. Counterfeit drugs are drugs that are categorized as falsified drugs product without carried out unknowingly, intentionally, by irresponsible and only pursuing of profit from legitimate manufacturing or patterns and generate drugs which can endanger health and even be like threatening and have the potential to damage trust society and producer and health system. Globally, this very economic practice is growing very fast after narcotic and terrorism and arms trade. Now, since the COVID-19, many people, the society can buy drugs without consultation first to the doctor and without pharmacy. They can buy drugs online by clicking, and the drugs is delivered to your home. This is dangerous because the effect of the drugs or even narcotics can get easily selling by online. And for the analysis is halal product, food and medicine, based on purpose and Sharia aim at benefit wisdom and secret, and general target based on legal instrument contained and the text of the Quran and Hadith. With the fulfillment of element, the aim point of Islamic teaching is consuming halal food are mainly related to safeguarding the soul, safeguarding the mind, and safeguarding the property. So counterfeit drugs, seen from the aspect of benefit, clearly conflict with the principle of halal. Legal reform and the legally digitalization of drug distribution is needed to fill the void. The regulation related to e-commerce of physical copy drugs. If Article 1320, the Civil Code in Indonesia, is about validating of the agreement about lawful causes does not meet the objective element, so there is null and void. Since from the electronic information and transaction law does not regulate the sale and the purchases of psychotropic drug. Meanwhile, the prohibition of circulation of certain types of drugs should not be displayed at e-commerce platform is regulated in Minister of Communication and Information Circular number 5 of 2006, where the transactions provided are administrative section only. The conclusion for this paper are the resources argued based on judicial review above related to the circulation of the drug online. There is regulation governing to the circulation of drugs and food cannot be provide maximum protection. Besides, that in the mass possession Sharia is contrary and the divine value, moral another, and the benefit of mankind. Therefore, a standardization of regulation, both in term capital and referring to the same regulation in addition to need for an assessment of drugs and goods and food about those that do not have a license and those that have a license is on ongoing basis by providing certification of circulation and drugs and food both for market and post market. Thank you. This is all for my presentation. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you, Miss Amori. So the time actually consumed is only for 5 minutes. Okay, so now we will proceed with the question and answer. Can we have questions from the participants? Market using online, right? So one of the interesting topics as well, especially in the halal food consumption. So do we have questions from the participants? So while waiting for the questions from the participants, may I ask first?
Yes.
So maybe my question is on the conduct of the study, like how did you conduct the study, especially involving the
I'm not looking for I'm not searching or using the respondent for this analysis. I'm using the from the use and many reports about drugs, illegal drugs selling. There is many drugs that is selling without with a permission from BPOM, and many of that I have mentioned before. There is more of 50,000 marketplaces have been taken down because of that. So I'm using the resource that I'm using for this analysis is by newses and reported by the consumer. There is
So are
some of websites that what is it? They are followed by many consumers that have been complained but doesn't get response from the producer, doesn't get a response from the market digital marketplaces, so they are gathered in that website and filing their complaint there. So I'm using that.
okay, so it means that there's no involvement of actual respondents in the study.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So other questions? Okay, question from Miss Fina. So the question is, what about the customer side? Is there anything that the Muslim customers do to avoid buying online counterfeit drugs?
Counterfeit drugs. So basically, by purchasing many items online, the lack of the transaction is because we doesn't really know what is the content for the things. There is I ever watched about food trapping by one of the by one of the newses. They said that maybe food, not even online transaction, but in offline. So is we doesn't really know what they contain because many producers use code for the for what is it bahan baku, what is it
For the ingredients.
ingredients, sorry. Well, thank you very much, Miss Pena. Jadi, there is many producers that not clearly inform the ingredient in their packaging. So even offline is also like that. So online is more dangerous because they can make what is it? They can sell it with interesting, with many convincing stated, but we doesn't really know the inside of that things, not even drugs, food, anything.
Yeah, so most likely there's no validation of the ingredients before buying it because since it's available online.
Yes,
Yeah.
and my main purpose for this paper is to raise the awareness of people for more aware about what things that they put in their mouth. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Amorim. Now, a last question from the chat box from Sir Mandu. Positive law in Indonesia with Sharia, is there a common ground? Specifically on the counterfeiting?
Can you refresh?
Yeah, positive law in Indonesia with Sharia, is there a common ground? So most likely in terms of counterfeiting, is there a common ground?
In Sharia and the common ground is about the good is about the moral, the value, the good, like I already said at the analysis before, there is refrigerating the soul, refrigerating the mind, refrigerating the property. And actually, the positive law already rules it, already stated it, and at the positive law, but we are here. We are lack of standardization of the positive the rules and the what is it, pengawasan? I'm so sorry.
So I think that's it,
Yes.
Miss Amori.
I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah. So thank you for the answers for the questions. So congratulations as well, and thank you for your presentation.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now we will proceed with the last category. It's on the Islamic law. So we will be having Mr. Yapiter Marpi for his paper titled Legal Perspective in the Certainty of Providing Testament Grants as Inheritance Becomes an Absolute Aspect of Recipients of Parental Inheritance. Mr. Yapiter, you may now start.
Okay, thank you, Mr. I will screen. Okay, thank you, Kebayoran. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. MA conference program di International Conference on Islamic Epistemology. I am Peter Happy from University of Jakarta. This is would you like to present an article entitled Legal Perspective in the Stand of Providing Testament Grants as Inheritance become an absolute aspect of receiving parental inheritance. Yes, this is according the compilation of Islamic law, article 171, letter give the meaning of as follow. I will give thing an object from the here to another person or institution that will occur the heritage former according to article 210 of the compilation of Islamic law, paragraph 1 state that a person who is at less than 21 years old has consent without a consent can donate up to part of its property to another person institution before to with to only intelligent definition of grant. This is when to grant the person who own the property is still sleeping. A grant is defined give from a grantor to another person as a grant. In accordance with article 171.g of the compilation of law, grant are giving on object from one to another who still live own voluntarily and without reward. Will as one additional right they must be granted before the asset are be given to the here. This is method research and normative judicial research, especially law research, which method research is this study literature fundamental data secondary. This is in from letter and diary of the official from papers and finding and discussion grant arrangements according to ICIE and civil courts. This is according to article 210 paragraph 1 of the compilation Islam law. A person who is at less 21 years old with good sense without coercion and can donate as per 3 as per 2 and 3 his property another person institution the person to be to be one. Whereas in this case this sperm Code of the Republik Indonesia issue number letter include SEMA surat edaran Mahkamah Agung number 3 of 200 that July 21 200 and SEMA number 4, 201. That just August 201, that serve to serve as a building. All kinds of item, whether preserved or absent, are considered among the donated item. In theory, donation are permissible for any item or right that can be traced. Anyone who is or can be in the current citizen, the status certain thing of this particular sort the speak person according to article 1947 of the civil code. The existence of the guarantee and written in a positive legal perspective, Indonesia as previously amended bring must take into account give there is here the original big grandfather was still live. This code article 186 until to 199 this issue bring come the elders the concept acceptance of the person who live the inheritance are responsible for carrying out the calculation. Other higher only if it is care or appreciated by fundamentally grant represent to guarantor they will decide what will happen to his asset through that cannot harm the hair absolute right. This is true whether the guarantor is still alive or the gift is made through testament. However, the most crucial factor is that this grant are made after careful consideration and with the existing children consist these crucial to prevent family division assign grant are found on such a pattern of distribution. I can underline they can be considered a legacy where opinion are seen. In conclusion, and the first, according to article one 107 1.g of population of Islamic law, the definition of the under Islamic the voluntary and uncontested transfer of property from the person to another who still live guns take effect soon once the guarantor transfer his property to the grant. The giver, the recipient object contribution, the component, the make up the pillars of a grant. Some scholar consider grant is one pillar of the donation will the content the consent grant is not a pillar of grant. And the second, instance, anyone who is not the stationer can become of beneficiary. Some individual, however, do not to be beneficiary of the will become because for instance here they do not beneficiary of will, however many become beneficiary but they have concern the other according with article 90 paragraph 3, completion of Islam law. Their profession give the summary grant in addition to grant and bills. Okay. Thank you as we present article, and thank you for your attention and cooperation.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Yapiter Marpi, for your presentation and congratulations. Now, as you go with your presentation, Miss Badra Uyuni is raising her hand. So I think Miss Badra has a question. Miss Badra?
Yes, thank you, sir.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Peter Marpi. Yeah, your voice is so low. My question is, this is talking about the wasiat in Islam, right? Wasiat regarding to the waris, right? What is the difference? My question is, what is the difference between wasiat in Islamic law in Sharia compared to the compilasi hukum Islam, the compilation of Islamic law? What is the difference? And the second one, according to Islamic scholar, there is concept of wasiat wajibah. Is it the same as the will of inheritance in compilasi hukum Islam as you have stated, or different? Thank you.
So I think there are two
Thank you,
questions raised by Miss Badra.
Okay.
Okay. Sir Yapiter, you may now
Badra, yeah.
respond to
I will
the
answer.
concern.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. I will answer asking to Miss Badra. This is an according an article 200 paragraph 1 of the KHI, Complex of this is decreed a person who is at least 21 years or who sends without consider can donate as much as per 3 property to another person or institution the prison of to finish to be owned. This is the compilation of law. KHI also established limit the amount that might be granted, and in the affirmative it had an article 107 letters B and C the KHI which stipulate that the hair must be Muslim are the basis for the Islamic inheritance law, which has been applied in the context of religious court, which that non-Muslim hair will not receive inheritance from their Muslim here. Mungkin then thank you, Mr. This is answer of me.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Yapiter, and thank you, Miss Badra. I think we cannot accommodate another question because of the time limitations. So we will, congratulations and thank you for your presentation, Mr. Yapiter. And we will continue with another presenter from the last two presenter. So we'll be having the presentation of Miss Badra in her paper titled A Dynamic Hajj Fiqh for Elderly, a Study of Indonesian Pilgrims.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Bye. Thank you for the time, Professor. Okay, thank you, the committee, friends, and of course, my colleague from Universitas Islam Masyafiah Islamic University. I'm here to present my paper entitled A Dynamic Hajj Fiqh for Elderly. Let me share my paper first. Okay. 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 Is it clear? Okay. The title is A Dynamic Hajj Fiqh for Elderly, a Study of Indonesian Pilgrims. We are in team, me, Badra Uyuni from Asyafiah Islamic University, Muhammad Atan from Syarif Hidayatullah Jakarta Islamic State University, and Muhammad Sibghatullah from University of Indonesia. Okay, the background of the research is Hajj is one of the pillars of Islam that every Muslim who is physically, financially, and mentally capable is obliged to perform. The Hajj has quite demanding physical requirements and demands, make it generally more suitable for healthy and robust people. However, realizing that many older Muslims or senior citizens strongly desire to perform the Hajj, some countries have established special programs called elderly-friendly Hajj. The aim is to give senior citizens who are still physically and mentally capable the opportunity to perform the Hajj with more comfort and attention to their needs, as Islam teaches inclusive values and makes it easy for everyone to worship, including senior citizens. What is the purpose? The purpose of this research is we try to reveal the elderly-friendly Hajj program 2023. It means that just recently happened. It needs to be prepared for the evaluation of the following year's Hajj organization by the Indonesian government in serving pilgrims. And this is undoubtedly related to how the flexible organization of Hajj and flexibility in the implementation of Sharia for elders are still adjusted to the existence and purpose of Islamic law. Next. Okay. The method that we use is the study applies literature review. Study carried out in the narrative review model is to compare data from the literature on Hajj and fiqh for senior citizens, observation of pilgrims, and literature on Hajj policies and regulations, and interviews with Hajj officers and pilgrims. It was then analyzed the data utilizing descriptive analytics. And this study focuses on Hajj activities that serve senior citizens, a program of the Ministry of Religious Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia in 2023. And we found that the government continues to improve the Hajj system and management and prioritize the elderly in Hajj services. And the needs for maximum and comfortable worship for senior citizens, both in terms of infrastructure, facilities, services, and evaluation of fiqh laws for senior citizens. Okay, for the data, there are 62,879 pilgrims who are over 65 years old. It means lansia. The details include 51,778 people aged 65 to 75 years. And you can read that I also provide the data quota Haji Indonesia from year to year. Okay, this is my primary literature review. The books published by Kementerian Agama, the Ministry of Religious Affairs, 2023, about the elderly pilgrimage program, and what is their program actually. Have found some programs what they have done. The first is involving geriatric experts from the University of Indonesia to formulate service concepts, operational procedures, and health supervision of elderly pilgrims before the Hajj. Then compiling an elderly-friendly Hajj Manasik guidebook that has been socialized since it was still in the country. Then prepare elderly-friendly transportation facilities, provide special waiting rooms, and develop a scheme for placing elderly pilgrims in hotels, reducing ceremonial activities at embarkation so that elderly pilgrims are not exhausted, organizing technical guidance with an emphasis on the spirit of elderly-friendly Hajj, educated elderly pilgrims not to overexert themselves, and provide an understanding of various alternative conveniences in the Hajj pilgrimage, involving other Hajj pilgrims to raise awareness of the elderly, and providing wheelchairs to support the mobility of the elderly during the Hajj pilgrimage. And these are the rusas or relief for elderly Hajj in performing manasik Hajj that have been given fatwa by the Pembimbing Ibadah Haji and what is that? The Fatwa Committee of the Elderly Hajj Program. First is the wudu, and then they can change it with tayammum. Then the intention of ihram ishtirat. Mostly we start the ihram is from the Indonesia. Then they make it easy. You can read from the paper because it's too much. Then tawaf, they can perform tawaf or even sa'i by how to say that by wheelchair. Then stoning the jumrah, they can do badal for the elderly. Then wukuf, for wukuf, yeah, they use they perform wukuf by safari wukuf. It means they are still in the bus when they do wukuf. Then the imul haddas, because elder people, they cannot control his urine and other impurities, but the fatwa given for them that it is okay for them to do tawaf. Then for umrah wajib, and also for prayer in Masjidil Haram or arba'in in Masjid Nabawi should not be performed by the elder pilgrims. Then they can do nafar awal, not nafar thani. Then dam for hajj tamattu or kiran. They can also pray by jama and qasar, not like another common people. And also for tahallul, they will be helped. And also so many cases we found in the elderly Hajj, but I don't mention all. Okay. For the conclusion, services for elderly pilgrims are a significant concern in organizing the 2023 Hajj. Several improvements made to serve the elderly better. The government continues to try to improve the Hajj system and management and make the elderly a priority for Hajj services. Hajj pilgrims can perform worship under Sharia provisions, understand the sequence of implementation of the Hajj journey, and make independent pilgrims and not depend on other parties. Pilgrims can take legal solutions that provide convenience and relief for the elderly and high-risk people with disabilities, because Sharia could certainly provide solutions to the condition that occur so that the Hajj can be carried out properly, not bringing madarat, let alone endangering lives, especially for elderly and high-rise pilgrims. And it is important to note that this program may change yearly. Therefore, for prospective elderly pilgrims, following the latest information issued by the Ministry of Religious Affairs or related institution, is advisable to determine that the applicable requirements and procedures for the evaluation of the next Hajj implementation. They guided elderly and high-risk pilgrims in understanding the ritual and high-risk in understanding the Hajj manasik, Hajj correctly and perfectly, providing convenience to get the Mabrur Hajj and health and soul. And I also give some recommendation for the Indonesian government when they celebrate, when they organize Hajj program for elderly friendly Hajj the next year. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Badra, for your presentation and congratulations.
Yeah.
And now, can we have the questions from the participants? Do we have questions from the participants? So while the other participants are preparing for questions, allow me to ask one question, Ms. Badra. Now, my question is, one of the recommendations stated in the slide is the research and data gathering. So what specific recommendation will you give in terms of the research and data gathering, especially when it comes to this topic?
The recommendation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wrote in my paper several recommendations regarding this. There are 9 recommendations. Actually, I have mentioned it in my presentation, but I read the title only as this is too long, and I have give some explanation. The first is continuous improvement, because the program of elderly pilgrim Hajj, it's not only just this year, but 2 years before, the Indonesian government had managed it, but it's not performed well. But now they still carried it, but still there are so many problems when manage this 228.000 jemaah. 228,000 Indonesian pilgrims in this year, and 30% of them are elderly, lansia. Okay, in continuous improvement for the facilities and anything. Okay, then the government should do research and data gathering. What is the problem arose before, then interagency collaboration, not only between the government of Indonesia and the government of Saudi, but also from not only among government, but also with NGOs and many others relevant stakeholders. And then we need communication and information, because when the government try to facilitate, but mostly the pilgrimage means Indonesian people, Indonesian pilgrim going to be, mostly they don't understand accurately what they have to do in the Hajj. Then also companionship and social support, because previously Indonesian government facilitate the elderly with their family to perform the Hajj, but in this year the government do not accompany the elderly with their family due to so many people, elder people who could not perform Hajj previously. So banyak yang tua gitu, jadi ngantri banget. So the government provide facilities from the PPIH. It means petugas haji membantu mereka untuk memfasilitasi mereka, bukan keluarga mereka, dan itu sangat menyulitkan karena
the staff help them.
Okay, the staff help the elderly to perform the Hajj, but the staff is only limited in number, but the pilgrims are too many, so they cannot help all. and religious guidance. Of course, everyone who perform pilgrimage, they want to perform the best thing, but due to of their lackness, they cannot perform it. But they do not understand. They do not understand that so many fatwas regarding to the rukhsah for them. But yeah, from before they go to Hajj, we have to explain it to them well. Then inclusivity and participation, it means encourage active participation of elderly pilgrims in the planning and evaluation of the program. We have to also ask them what they want actually, what do they need, and public awareness campaign, and then international collaboration. These are our recommendation for the elderly friendly Hajj program.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Miss Badra. Now, another concern I think is to be raised by Sir Mandu.
Yeah, it's very nice for Miss Badriah Uyun about Hajj pilgrim. As we know in Indonesia, Prof. Jalaluddin, is many problem, and I think not yet a good solution. Okay, I will to ask about pilgrim Haji to Miss Badriah. What is the problem, and how the motivation and spirit of the elderly pilgrim in the rules, with the rules, because we know elderly is very high. I want goes to Mecca in elderly. I don't care for rules. What do you think? What you say? In 100 year pilgrimage Indonesia, in your information in Hajj pilgrim, we have got 100 year goes to Mecca. What your opinion? Your write in article research about spirit in their spirit, semangat mereka terhadap umur dan sunnah ini. Perbedaannya di mana? Where's different?
I cannot get your point. What is their spirit? Why even they are old enough,
Yeah,
they still want
spirit,
to.
motivation, and rule.
Oke, lebih baik meninggal di kota suci. Okay, maybe my friend, Mr. Muhammad Adnan is here. He is my husband actually. Mr. Muhammad Adnan is here. Dia adalah petugas haji dari Kemenak. My husband. Mr. Muhammad Adnan, can you help me?
And he is the staff for Hajj.
Yeah. Mr. Muhammad Adnan, please help me. What is the motive of all people why they want to perform Hajj in that umur tua itu? Ayah pakai bahasa Indonesia nggak? Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. I just give some speech. Actually, we have need cooperation with all Ustad and all of Kiai to explain the people elderly to do something, not to do sunnah. The problem is, problemanya adalah kementerian tidak bisa melarang karena mereka sudah menunggu bertahun-tahun dan berpuluh tahun.
That's point. That's point. Nggak bisa melarang.
Oke. Kementerian dalam hal ini meminta kerjasama dengan para ustadz, para kiai, para pembimbing ibadah untuk mensosialisasikan untuk tidak memperbanyak ibadah sunnah. Karena pelajaran tahun ini sebanyak 750 lebih yang wafat dan itu cukup sangat besar dibandingkan tahun lalu. Diperlukan cooperation with all of people in Indonesia. Kerjasama semuanya untuk mensosialisasikan bahwasanya kewajiban ini terbatas dengan kemampuan. Sehingga harus sadar betul bahwasanya Allah tidak memberikan beban selain kemampuannya. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Translation ya. Oh, do you need the translation,
Yes.
Mr. Maro?
Maybe,
Yes.
yeah, maybe
Okay.
the translation.
Because the government doesn't give any sanction or limitation for Indonesian to go pilgrim. The government just limit that someone who want to what is that? Register for Hajj only starting from 12 years old, but not the limitation of the who is the eldest one. Even tahun ini ada jamaah haji tertua itu tahun 120 ya?
Yes.
120. Hah?
Yeah.
Umur berapa? 120 bukan ya?
120.
Ya. This
Yeah, so
year,
that's
the
great to
eldest
know.
pilgrimage is 120 years old from Indonesia.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? So that's great. It's an opportunity for the individuals to, attain to that responsibility.
Yeah. And they
And
don't
and
need
the
the
recommendations of
government
you is
does not allow them to
cooperation.
bring their family.
Yeah. And
Just
one of your
recommend this.
recommendation is collaboration, and I think in this session there is a collaboration between you and Sir Muhammad.
Just
Yeah.
recommendation not can be supported.
Yeah.
Ministry and Pilgrim Jamaah is very difficult.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah.
So I think that completes the presentation of Miss Badra, and thank you,
Thank
Sir
you.
Mamduk and Miss Fina for your question as well. We were not able to address that considering the time, but then I think Miss Badra can answer that in the chat box. So we will now proceed
Okay,
with the
thank you.
last presenter. We have
I think
eh,
that's all for the
oh
session. Miss Bada is the last, yeah. Okay, that's fine.
okay.
Okay, so now,
Thank you.
thank you. I would like to say thank you for the great session, Prof. Marohom. Okay,
You're welcome, Prof.
it's such an exciting one since many of the presenters are in the same expertise, yeah. So thank you also to all the presenters who are already presenting their papers. Next, okay, let me share. Allow us to remind and encourage all presenters and audiences to continue the discussion about the research presented in the Global Research Ecosystem Community Platform. I will share the link later on the chat box. So in the platform can be found in the menu in the platform in the Global Research Ecosystem. You can go to the forum menu and feel free to continue the conversation and further research collaboration among global scholars. Okay, so now we would like to go to the e-certificate distribution. Moving on to the next agenda is the distribution of the e-certificates of presentation for all presenters that already shown their best effort in presenting their papers. So please welcome again Prof. Marohom to welcome and congratulate each of the presenters.
Yes, Prof.
Okay.
So thank you very
Yes.
much. Now we will be awarding the certificates of presentation for our presenters. The first certificate is to be given to Wartani in successfully presenting her paper entitled Analysis of Escherichia coli Extended Spectrum Beta-lactamase ASBL Bacteria in Chicken Farm Waste in Sipondo, Tangerang City. So thank you for your presentation and congratulations.
Thank you so much, Prof.
Yeah, there's no sound. So we'll create the sound. Congratulations again. Now another certificate is to be given to Aris Mahmoud in the paper titled "Is Indonesia Destined to Become the World's Market for Halal Products?" Thank you and congratulations. There's no sound again. Okay, another certificate is given to Amuri Adi Sudiro for the paper titled Legal Review of Online Counterfeit Drugs Trafficking in Point View of Makusid Sharia. Congratulations. Okay. Same certificate is awarded to Siti Farhani for the paper titled Alternative Punishment in Criminal Legal System in Indonesia. Congratulations. Same certificate is given to Mr. Yapiter Marpi in his paper titled Legal Perspective in the Certainty of Providing Testament Grants as Inheritance Becomes an Absolute Aspect of Recipients of Parental Inheritance. Congratulations, Mr. Yapiter. Same certificate is given to Mrs. Badra Uyuni in her paper titled A Dynamic Hajj, Fiqh for Elderly, a Study of Indonesian Pilgrims. Thank you and congratulations, Ms. Badra.
Yay.
Okay, so that completes our session. Yeah. Thank you very much and
Yes.
congratulations.
Thank you very much. And congratulations to all presenters who already presenting their papers. All of you already done a really good job. Thank you to Prof. Maraho for the great sharing the session. And also thank you to all the audiences and participants who already participated and actively involved in the question, comment, feedback, and even suggestion to the scientific forum of fourth ICIE. So now, before we continue to the next agenda of fourth ICIE, let us have an e-group virtual conference photo in this session in this breakout room. So for all, please turn on your Zoom video or camera in your device, and I will start to count. Okay, so there's only about 21 of us in this room, and okay, so only one screen. Please turn on your camera and I will count 1, 2, 3, and give me your best smile. Okay, thank you for all the smiles and wonderful energy for today's e-group photo. So after this, Excellency is distinguished guests, delegates, ladies and gentlemen. In this opportunity, we would like to invite 1 or 2 representatives in this room to share their experience in participating at the conference. The purpose of this section is to encourage other scholars, students, academicians, and practitioners to join the upcoming scientific forum. Please welcome. Maybe I would like to ask Mr. Mamdul to share about your insight or experience or maybe suggestion for the conference. Mr. Mamdul, would you like to share with us? Okay, please share your insight, a few words for us, your experience or your suggestion or maybe comment for this conference. Would you like to share a few words with us, Mr. Mamdu?
Okay. For this event, it is very great and very good. I'm representative from University of Muhammadiyah Semarang, Central Java, Indonesia, and to all my colleagues, and mobil khusus to Dr. Jalaluddin and Saida Vina Sebriani. Thank you so much for this event. I had the first time to joining this conference. Is very amazing, and future more is more specific science, specific research. Maybe inshallah will better and more many science to joining this collaboration and conference.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Mamduk, and we really appreciate your involvement in this conference.
Okay.
Okay, so next, allow me to read some information, some important information about.
Waalaikumsalam, Prof.
Okay, allow me to read some important information related to the post. Sorry for the post-conference information for the fourth ICIE. The information for the fourth ICIE publication opportunity is stated on the website on ICIE-uai.com. All accepted abstracts will be published in a conference abstract ebook with POI number, indexed in Google Scholar and published in F1000 Research RSF Gateway. All accepted conference paper already published in a conference proceeding with ISSN, DOI number, indexed in Google Scholar and submitted to the OAG. The link is sent on the chat box. Okay, so please pay attention to the timeline and process that the author must do in order to complete the post-conference process and get the international journal recommendation. At last, on day +14 or 22 August 2023, after the conference finished, the author who wants to proceed to the publication process must send or upload their final full extended paper. The author must revise and extend into minimum of 5,000 to 7,000 words and paraphrase approximately 80% of published conference paper to avoid self-plagiarism. Once again, please pay attention to the timeline. It is day +14 after this conference. The author can send the extended full paper to their ScholarVane account under the menu of upload or send email to info@icie-uai.com. The extended paper will undergo the second round of scientific review process to determine your journal recommendation for publication. All accepted papers have the opportunity to be published in reputable international journal indexed by Scopus or the UAG, Copernicus, Google Scholar, or the mentioned. Of course, terms and conditions applied, selected by the Scientific Editorial and Reviewer Committee. Furthermore, the committee of the fourth ICIE is committed to give added value for all conference participants by providing a forum for discussion in the Global Research Ecosystem Community Platform. By joining this community platform, you will gain more benefit and can interact, connect, and do the research collaboration ahead. Please visit globalresearchecosystem.com or scan the barcode in the screen for the feedback form. Next, I would like to inform you how to claim and get the e-certificate for today, especially for the attendees. First, please sign up and log in to our Global Research Ecosystem. And then secondly, click the events menu and change the status to going for the fourth ICIE conference. The committee will only send the e-certificate to the participants who confirm to go to the event. So do not forget to get your e-certificate through the community platform. And then once again, please do not forget to fill the feedback form as can be seen in the screen. The committee will type in the Zoom chat box. The information before going back to the main room. So now we will go back to the main room to wait for the announcement of the awarding for the best presentation, best paper, and the session share recognition. Meanwhile waiting, you can also go to our Global Research Ecosystem Community platform to ask questions, comment, or discuss the research that were presented today and also yesterday by the invited speaker. In the platform, we will also share regularly about our upcoming conferences and events so that you can keep updated with our community. This is one way for us to gather and connect with the network of scholars, collaborate, and be in the supportive environment of research. To join, simply go to the Global Research Ecosystem and then you can log in by using your Gmail or Facebook account. So after this, we will go to the we'll go back to the main room to wait for the awarding session. Okay, so thank you and see you in the main room for the awarding session and closing ceremony of the 4th ICIE. See you all in the main room.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone and thank you Prof. Marohong for being with us
Thank
today.
you.
See you in the
Yeah,
main
yeah.
room, Prof.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you. Thank you, Prof. Congratulations all.